Thank you for being here. My name is Pablo Morano, filling in for Mark Beecher tonight. Welcome to Tuesday's Encounters in New York. I'll be your host, so like I said, filling in for Mark Beecher tonight. And tonight we have a very special guest. Her name is Lina Valencia. And when we were talking right before we start this show, I was asking her if she could find me a way to introduce her to you, and especially to people that doesn't know her so much. And she said it's hard for me to introduce myself. So they sent me something to introduce her, but the introduction just says that she's a human being. So I'm going to introduce her that way. Lina is just a human being who is going to talk with us tonight, and we'll be speaking about spirituality, I guess. So thank you for being with us tonight, Lina. How are you doing? Are you in there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hello. Oh my goodness. I didn't know that she just said like I'm a human being. So I was just laughing myself up.
I found
So
out that was funny enough. Yeah.
yeah, because we thought that maybe you will have some material in order to introduce me, but that's what it is.
Uh-huh. So we'll go with what the spirit gives us tonight, and let's see what happens in the rest of this evening.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. It's like I'm so honored to be part of this because we both are invited by Ernie, and we feel like he have this beautiful task to bring people together in order to, I don't know in order to what, but bring people together, and that's enough for me. So I'm honored to be here, and thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm going to start from whatever I can start with this, because I have been trying to gather some information about you online. And it seems like your people know you very well, but it's kind of a mystery a little bit about who you are for the people that doesn't know you, or if you don't come in from someone who talked about you before. So I will have to ask you to tell me about a little bit about what you do with the people that you work with.
Okay. So let's put it this way. I've been asking a lot of questions to myself and to others. And through that questions, we just realize what life has to teach for us in that moment, like what is that deep learning that you can achieve when you just question and when you just ask things about why or what for things happens. So what we do in our session groups and these things that we do the Tuesdays, we just ask questions. And I've been doing that long time ago, like for many years now. And I'm so happy to, like, let's say, like, to make people connect with the ability that they have to ask things and stop having life for granted, like start to awake that ability to, I don't know, like ask about why I'm here and what am I doing here and who I am. And all this have been like a really lovely journey that I've been like having with another persons like for, I don't know, like 20 years now. So let's put it that way. I'm an investigator of life. That's what I.
But that sounds really interesting. And I also noticed that you talk a lot about being in the now, being in the present, trying to be mindful about being in the present. So what the question that comes to my mind is actually, how did you get to that? How did you get to those kinds of ideas, and what kind of questions came up to you that lead you to get there?
Okay. So I need to make a little correction because I don't talk about presence, but that
Okay.
is all that is. That is all there is, like
Okay.
so let's go through that path. So sometimes when people come to ask me things, I just ask them to make this little journey. So let me explain. We have this concept about what presence is, and we have like a lot of thoughts and information about what should we do when we are in presence and what we shouldn't do, but for me it's just about there is a difference between present time and presence. When you reach your present time and when you are in whatever is happening in your life right now, and you are able to watch it, and you are able to experience it, and you are able to like hug it up, like you are there, you are in presence. But people say things like, for being presence, I need to be peaceful, or I need to be like in certain state of mind. And I'm I'm not that sure that that is true, because you can be in presence even when you're feeling anger, or even when you're feeling jealousy, or when you're feeling stress. So presence is not about something that you have to do, it's something that you are. So sometimes when we are with these people, like with my students, I don't like that name, but they call themselves that. So when we are with my students, they just learn how to be there with their lives and have to allow life to live through them. And maybe that's what we do. And for me, presence is about, like making peace, but no because you are peaceful, but because you are able to see peace in whatever state of mind or emotion that you are in this moment. Maybe, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I understand, and some of these things I found out through my journey as well, that
Mhm.
they they seem to be like really simple, but at the same time, our mind gets in between a lot of that with all the, the feelings we have, emotions we have, our own thoughts, our own set of beliefs that somehow get in the place whenever I'm trying to, like you say, be there.
Okay.
So is there a way that you actually share with the people you talk with, to not call them your students? Is there a way
Thank
that you actually
thank you
share
so
with them,
much.
to to that you share with them so they can get into that place easier? Is there a way to actually do it, or is just talking about it and feeling the presence?
So lovely question, and thank you for it. This is the problem. Maybe we as humanity have been looking for wellness and for an easy way to live, an easy way to feel, an easy way to think. And when you pursue it, when you look forward to feel wellness all the time, in fact, you are creating the opposite. So right now, if you're, for me, it's easier if we have like an actual example. So can we do
Okay.
it with you? Can I use you? I'm
No,
sorry. I'm
no,
sorry.
go ahead. Go ahead. Let's do it.
Okay.
But
So
I'm curious about it actually. So let's
okay,
go.
so let's talk about something that right now is not working that well in your life, or something that
Hmm.
you need to, like if you can share with us. And thank you so much, because I'm so lost without a real example. So whatever
Uh,
you bring, like it's okay.
like I said, I can completely relate in your way of how you
I
you
know.
do things. So let's talk about it this way. Right now, I'm having quite an issue with someone in the place where I live, in the same building. You know,
Perfect. Perfect. I can use that. Okay. What
Mhm.
that person makes you feel?
uh, it makes me feel ghosted. He's just
Okay.
not answering emails. You know, it's he's supposed to be the manager of the building, and he just doesn't answer email or anything. So,
Okay. Okay.
so it makes me feel a little bit ghosted, like not being seen. You know.
Okay. Thank you so much. And please stop me if I go too deep, like
Right.
whenever you want. So let me ask you this. Before this person, who else used to make you feel that way in the past?
Yeah, it happened
Yeah.
quite a lot of times. Yes.
Okay. So can you have that person's can you also, you don't have to mention it, but you have them right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So let's say that maybe I can do this therapy thing and I tell you like, hey, this person is making you feel the way your mom used to. I'm joking, is that no? But your mom used to make you feel, blah blah. Okay, and then we just said like, yeah, let's call your mom and okay, I don't want to be rude, but we can do that way, or
Right.
we can stop and say like, what is the problem with being ghosted? Because the rejection that you have to being ghosted is making you wait a second, because I'm going to say something really special here. The rejection that you have being ghosted with that feeling is making you create people who actually make you feel that way.
Right.
Can you see it? So
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So it's not that I feel this way because that person do or doesn't do things. Is that I feel this way because I don't like to feel this way. So life is really, like a loving mother. And life says, this is the only task that you don't know how to do. This is the only thing that you're missing out. You don't know how to feel ghosted. So let's make you feel this way in order that you achieve the only task that you haven't achieved yet. So you start to create people. So right now, you are creating this manager or the person that is not, returning the emails and everything. So right now that you are creating these people, how do you feel?
I'm gonna play a little bit of devil's advocate right now here. So
Okay.
just
Yeah, it's okay.
okay,
It's
okay.
perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm just saying because I can get in there. I know where you're trying to go. I can feel it. Yeah.
Okay.
But what I feel too is that maybe we can give a little bit more to people that doesn't know you so well. Try to make it a little bit interesting, let's say. So yeah, let's say I feel guilty if
Okay.
I'm the one creating that. A feeling of guilt comes into my mind.
That's perfect. Why? Because right now, what you're doing is making an assurance that you still have a problem with being ghosted.
Okay.
Yeah. I always have this little one with me because I really need it all the time. I use it. So let's do it this way. So I'm sorry, but it's going to make things a little easier. So this is you, right? This is the manager or the person that is making you ghosted right now.
Okay.
This is another person that make you feel that way in the past. And this is your mom. I'm just playing. I know that you're playing along.
Don't worry.
Thank you so much. And then look at this. This is again you. So you are being ghosted by the manager, by your girlfriend, by your mom, and now by yourself. Because right now, you still have a problem with being ghosted. So in the moment that you realize that your only problem is with this feeling, all of these villains lose their advantage, over you.
Yeah.
And in that second, you start to work not through your relationships, but you start to work with your feelings and wait. Because someone can think like, oh, so I need to like to be ghost. No. I never said that this, like playing ping pong. No, no, no. Let's say that you need to realize, okay, I don't like it. I don't like to be ghosted, and I don't like when others do that to me, and I don't like when I do it to myself. I don't like it. And what you need to reconcile in life is that sometimes you won't like things and you can still live them. And that is presence. Can you get it? It's like in the moment that you're able to say, okay, life is not about to be happy all the time. Life is not about to be wellness all the time. Life is not about to be well all the time. In that moment, you're free. You're free of the person that did that to you, and you're free of yourself, from yourself. Because in that moment, you start to see, okay, wait a second. I have built my whole personality and my whole identity in order to like myself and to like others, and to and also others like me. And that is really, really painful because that won't happen. And when you understand that life is not about being accepted and life is not about that you like yourself, you stop worrying about that much about your own thoughts about yourself. And you start to realize that whatever you think about yourself is not essentially true, even if it is a good thought or if it's a negative. So presence is reconciled with the ability of embrace the discomfort.
Okay, I get it, but I'm gonna go back a little bit to guilt.
Okay.
Because I feel, or I think that you haven't really talked about the guilt that came afterward. That's the feeling that you asked for, you know? So
But wait.
what about that guilt?
Let me pause you there,
Oh,
because
go ahead.
this is ghost. I don't know how to write it, so I'm gonna draw a ghost.
always
So
whatever.
he's a ghost. Okay. And then we have the ghost, and here we have the guilt that I think is like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Why the guilt shows up? Because of your rejection of being ghosted.
Okay.
Okay.
The rejection of the feeling of being
Of
ghosted.
being, yeah.
Okay.
So then it's a how to say, it's like a like a how to say, collateral damage.
Okay.
Because right now your guilt is what happens after you reject this. Okay. And even there, you are allowed to be guilt. You are allowed to feel guilty. When you realize that in life, you are allowed to be ghosted and to feel guilty, you won't have any trouble with those two. And then this is beautiful because in that moment you can transcend them. Just in that second. But when you are so busy trying to change it, you cannot transcend it. So life has been asking us as humanity, please stop being at war with whatever form I take. Please start to be present in order to know that even your nervous system and your biology tells you you need to be okay, and you need to be fine, and you need to do well, and you need to be liked, and you need to be loved. That is not completely true. That is the way that your biology express, because needs to, like you need to how to say that in English, like you need to stay in this planet and have like children, and I don't know, yeah, like like biology says, like, please stay alive and please be okay and please feel good. But there is another part of the brain that is able to say, like, I'm not always going to be like this. And in that moment I can realize that there is a lot of things right now happening in life that are allowed to happen because they are happening. We don't like it? No. I don't like it. I'm not saying I have all the answers or anything. Like, I don't like it. Even like you give us a lot of, like this beautiful gift that you gave us, exposing yourself. I can expose myself with a lot of things right now. Like, I have little pimples. I don't like it. Like, I can tell you a lot of things that I don't like about myself. But I also been able to discover that in life you can dislike things. And if we as humanity are ready to embrace the part of us that we don't like, we're going to transcend it. But we have been so busy at war with it. We have been so busy at work with guilt. We have been so busy at work with being ghosted. We have so busy at war with darkness, because light is not the absence of darkness. Is like the plus of the both sides,
Mm-hmm. Now, do you believe something like this can work with because the example that I gave you somehow goes into something that's a feeling, right? It's an emotion that we have there, so it's a little bit more
It's
intangible.
easier. It's easier.
Yeah, yeah, it's here, but what I mean is intangible, So
No,
there's
it's
no
easier. It's easier to,
easier.
to
Okay,
embrace an emotion that to embrace a rape.
okay. So I didn't want to go that far, but maybe
But
we can take steps towards getting there and talk a little bit about it.
okay, so thank you for it, because yeah, I know where you're going to, and I was prepared, but let me tell you this. I don't know if we as humanity are prepared to discuss that. I don't know if we are prepared for that discussion, but let me put it this way. I've been able to discover that consciousness is like a font of water.
Mm-hmm.
And then water sometimes goes through this river and sometimes goes through the ocean. So let's say that the water that goes through the river is all the things that we don't like in humanity: war, murders, I don't know, like rape, like all these horrible things that we don't like. And I need to be really, really precise here. I don't like it. As Lina, I don't like it. But let's have this conversation in order to see what happens, okay? And let's say that the water that goes through the ocean is all the things that we like love and a newborn and, family and all the things that we like. Okay, so at some point, as humanity, we're going to be able to discover that they both are water. They both are consciousness. Consciousness taking the form of one thing and consciousness taking the form on another thing. So my question is, what is going to happen the day that we, as humanity, at least an enough amount of people thinking about the same thing, what is going to happen when we discover that consciousness is everything that we see, even if we don't like it when we see it? Maybe in that second, we're going to transcend it. But before that, we still have here our fears and or problems with the things that we don't like. But I like to think about that question. What is going to happen when humanity is ready to see that consciousness take different forms, and all of them are light, all of them are, all of them are the same. So I don't know, I give that question to you because I don't know the answer.
Well, let me start by saying that I agree. I agree with the feeling. I agree with the wish to the place where you're going with it. Uh, it just comes to my mind the question of, okay, that feeling, that wish, it's easy for someone that it's not going through something that can be as difficult as a rape. But then, let's take a little bit step towards something that can be more
Common.
relatable
Okay.
for more people. Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about someone who maybe is in an abusive relationship. Not as abusive as being raped, but as abusive as being controlled by a husband, being beaten down maybe some days by the husband, not having the capacity to buy anything because the husband just controls all her money or something like that. So how can someone who is going through that actually experience this whole idea of oneness, this idea that everything is it's perfect, it needs to happen and you need to embrace it, when that person is in a state or in a situation where the thing that they need to embrace is actually really, really, really painful, mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that question, because I've been there. So it's lovely that you put, exactly the question that I as a Lina been there. So acceptance and awareness doesn't have anything to do with endurance. So we are not saying that that person that is suffering abuse for her husband, or like whatever situation is, needs to stay there. Okay, but you can leave that abusive husband, and when you're safe, when you are, like nobody is hitting you, or like when you're safe, when you go out from that place, you can make a pause and you can start to think, what part of myself was created in that situation? Because if we keep thinking that the problem is the abusive husband, and we think that the problem is his problem,
Mm-hmm.
you are going to bring the same situation to the next husband.
Right. Exactly.
Okay? So it's not about being there and let it, all the things that, all the bad things in the world happen to you. Is to be in there, make a pause, go and put yourself safe, like your integrity, and then start to realize that at some point you make it that happen. And what is the purpose of that, So I've worked with, I did counseling and I did therapy for, I don't know, like 12 years. And I had a lot of cases like this. And all the different ladies and men came to me to, like, I having this problem, I don't know what to do, etc. And then, okay, we go through it and we realize something that is really, I don't know if it is, I don't know, it's just in the tilt of my tongue, and I don't know if this is the place to put it out, but let's pray. So there is something common in this situation, in this specifically situation of abuse, of someone is hitting you and hurting you. And the common is a lot of these persons have lost in some part of the path in their lives, have lost like the ability to connect with life and feeling alive and enjoy life, And when they encounter these abusive situations, it was like the hit point, like the maximum point, like they were able to endure before they make a change.
Right.
So sometimes what I feel is like life gives you all these difficult situations because you're not paying attention. And then you start to paying attention through these situations. One day, person that shared this Tuesday with us asked something like, is there a possibility to like to awake or being in, like this journey of awakening without pain? And this is a beautiful question because it's up to us. If we start to pay attention to ourselves and we start to pay attention to life and to be aware and to be there and to be present, maybe we won't need that much pain. But if we are not doing it and we are not there, how else life can, like call us? How can life communicate with us if we are not able to communicate with it? So
now I'm gonna come back to the moment that you said that maybe they disconnected with life. Would you say something like that is would you call it a trauma response or something like that?
this is a beautiful one about trauma. Let me ask you this. Oh my God. I don't know if I'm gonna say this, like I, I I just say this kind of things in my group, like because we have so much work like we have done. I don't know if because it's gonna be posted. So I need to first of all like to say to the people that maybe this is too harsh on them. So I'm sorry in advance. And I really feel your pain and I feel the place that you are. But I know also that there's another path. So I need to do this prevention before what I'm going to say. So that being said, how can you know that trauma is trauma? Like I'm asking you.
Yeah, usually you do because you have some sort of people have some sort of remembering of some things or just triggers that come out because of something happening. Like you said, it's like the last drop before the change. You know, most of the time trauma comes out in a lot of ways before that last drop, which starts the whole path before going into the change.
So let's say that this is old trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make it like little trauma because I don't want to go that deep with people that is suffering right now because I don't want to be disrespectful or anything. So let's say that you have a trauma that when you are a little boy, you broke a bone.
Right.
And you broke a bone and maybe you received some bully from your kids at your school, and let's say that. So this is trauma. So when we understand how time works, we're going to understand that there is a linear perception of time in which we have past, present, and future. But there is another way to see a time, and in which we can realize that this little boy that, let's say, had like 8 years, 8 years old, and right now you have like, I don't know, 40 years old, they both are coexisting.
Right.
So this is your 8 years old little kid that broke a bone. And this is you that are looking at that kid. So if you don't have any problem with the pain that you suffer because you break a bone, when you look at it, it's just a memory, not a trauma. So maybe what makes trauma being a trauma is the way that we look at it. So maybe we keep traumatizing ourselves because we keep looking at that memory in a traumatic way.
Okay, no, I get where you're going.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna open myself up a little bit more here.
Okay.
But I don't want to just I'm not doing it just for the sake of doing this, you know. But in my experience, I've had that experience where I saw someone hitting another person, having a fight with another person. That triggered me, you know, in a way that I didn't know I had it in there. It wasn't something that I was aware of, but my body just started shaking and trying to collapse and run away from there. And it was just completely instinct, you know. It wasn't something I was thinking about. It just happened, you know.
Yeah.
So when you put it in the way you're putting it, and maybe this is why you were doing all the talking before about being careful about what you were saying, you know.
Yeah.
But it feels a little bit like, okay, but where's that body part that I felt, you know?
Yeah. Perfect. Lovely.
Okay.
Lovely. Thank you. I'm so happy that you are doing this interview because it's easier for me, you know, even my English is not that good and you're making it so
You're
easy.
unpacking me.
Thank you so much. So look at this. There is biology and there is consciousness. Okay. So biology is not a mistake. And consciousness is not like all we have to do. There is two parts of you. Okay. So whenever your biology shows up and tells you, hey, you have a problem with this because you have a memory, like maybe it's trapping your fascia, like, you know, like, I don't know how to say that in English, like your fascia. So maybe it's trapped there, maybe it's trapping your muscles, maybe it's trapped, you know, in some part of
everything.
body.
Yeah.
So, and then it pumps up, you know, because you saw a fight and then, okay, this is biology. But biology doesn't need to be the driver of your life. So once you see the message that your body is giving you, you can see it like as a memory, or you can see it as a trauma. Because when your body communicates with us, communicates with you, it's telling you, hey, you have this on you. You have this memory, and you don't like this memory, and you're afraid of this memory. Then what makes a trauma? When you look at that memory and say, I'm going to be afraid of this memory forever. Because this is my decision. My decision is to look at violence and to feel that I cannot do anything about it.
What kind of decision making has, for example, a 6 or 9, 8 years old, when he or she confronts something like this? How can someone that young have actually a decision to make about how he or she is going to see violence through the rest of her life?
I love it. Your little kid, let's say 7-year-old, 8-year-old, saw a violent scene. Then from that violent scene, the little kid just storage that scene because at that moment he doesn't have the tools to deal with it.
Exactly right.
You are a grown up, you know, and when you're a grown up and you see your little kid, when you call the word trauma, you're saying little kid, I'm a grown up and I still doesn't have the tools to deal with it. So you need to keep suffering. Violence. Okay? Because the decision is making it the grown up. And this is the beautiful thing that I want to share you about the time, about my perception of time. So in the lineal perception of time, is this marker enough, or should I use another one that is, let me, is this better?
Yeah, that one's better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So this is a lineal perception of time. And this is past, this is present, and this is future, right? Okay. This is one way to see time, and it's okay. We're like it. Like, we have been there. Okay, I'm not saying there is nothing bad with it, but I'm telling you there is more way to see time,
Okay.
you know? So the another way that you can see time is like to circular time. And in circular time, you take all of these lines and you make it here. And then you have something like this. And then you have something, I don't know if you're aware of the, how to say this? The
flower of life?
Yep, thank you. I was thinking just, it's a good thing that you can channel in order, you know, to take whatever I don't able to say myself.
We're building this together,
So,
don't worry.
thank you so much. So then you have this. So here is your little kid that have an experience, that had an experience with violence. List, okay? Then here's your grown up. I'm gonna say you're like 28. Let's say it like this. And then right now you're 28 looking at your little kid. Okay. He doesn't have the tools. And wait this second. Why your little kid doesn't have the tools to deal with violence? Why? Because in this perception of time, you are telling him right now that he is not able to deal with it, with that, because you are coexisting with him. So you are the one who is making the decision, and he is the one that's suffering that decision at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now you say, for me, violence is a trauma. So he says, okay, so beat it. For me, it's also a trauma. So we both are going to create this situation in which I'm going to be traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
But if this grown up right now make the decision that maybe he's going to see that memory just as a memory and not as a trauma, that little kid is going to make a move and he won't be traumatized. So right now I show you how it works with a grown up with a memory of a little kid. Now let's make it the other way.
Okay.
I know that you remembered, but maybe other people don't remember that well. Do you remember when you were a little kid and you used to see your little friends that they were not able to be seen for anyone else? You know, like
right.
I know. So let's say that you're able to see these little friends.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the little friends that we used to see when we were kids, that invisible friends, were all the lines of time that we were sharing with all the different points of our life, all different age that we were sharing. So I'm a little kid. I have a violent situation right now in front of me. And in order to make a move, I'm gonna see what these other lines of time are gonna give me, you know, like what the information they have to give to me.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe right now I turn and I see this 28-year-old grown up and he's still dealing with. And then I go to the 63 grown up and he's still dealing with. And I say, okay, so I'm gonna be traumatized. Okay, then in the lineal time of perception of time, he's gonna storage in his body, and then he's gonna continue growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's an agreement between all your versions. Because trauma is something that is gonna awake the 28-year-old grown up. And that is the moment that he's going to say, like, hey, we're traumatized because this is happening to my body and I remember this memory. But in that second, you have the choice. You have the choice to say, okay, when I was putting my attention in my 8-year-old experience, I didn't have them. But right now, I have them. So all of us, even the 63, the 8, the 21, the 28, all of you are able to be free of looking at violence in a traumatized way.
So in a way, what you're saying is that the trauma will enable or give the chance of to that person of having actually a moment of alignment and wake up.
Exactly. And there is
Okay.
an agreement. And there is an agreement because the 8-year-old said, maybe that's what we need. So I'm going to suffer it in order that you guys over there start to work with it. And then you're going to give me the tools back. And then we're going to face it together. It's an agreement. And it's a perfect plan that is being planned for what you really are. That is the observer of all these lines of time that are happening right now. So trauma is only trauma if you want to look at a memory in a traumatized way. But you have the ability right now to freedom your inner kid and tell him, that what you suffer is a violence situation. But that doesn't mean that violence is not able to exist in life. Because another lovely thing, sorry, I just get so emotional. Look, you know what is another lovely thing about trauma? When you are in front of a violence situation, one of the things that make you being traumatized about it is that you somehow think that violence is a bad thing. And right now, from that point, you are not able to feel violence because in that way, you're going to be like the villain that is made, so you're going to be the same of that guy. And you don't want to be the same.
And at the same time, you're not going to be able to maybe express your anger or put limits around yourself because you're going to think that it's going to be too violent to do it. Right.
Exactly. So then you're going to start like, why on earth I should repress my anger? Like, what? What happened? Well, why, And then is that moment that you start to look in your story, what happened that I'm not able to express my anger and I'm not able to use it? Because wait, use anger doesn't mean go to punch someone. Use anger, use that is not use of anger, because if this is anger and I want to use it when I punch someone, I just release it on that person. So that is not use of anger. Use of anger is I'm going to feel this anger in order to let this anger make the movement, like make the what is it, energy movement that is making within myself in order to change the way that I see life and the way that I see myself. And at that point, anger complete his task on you and then rest, but doesn't disappear. And you're allowed to feel it whenever it comes because you don't need to get rid of it. You know that all the times that anger comes is like a visitor of your apartment and you just, pour a cup of tea and then you have a little chat and then it goes. Like the same happens with, with happiness and all the different emotions. So emotions is energy movement that shape us. So when you realize that this emotion is shaping you, these little dots that you left there in order to remember why you were traumatized when you were a little kid, then it just all comes to you. And then you say, oh, now remember my plan. It's like, I don't know how to say that in English. That little kids story that there is a witch in the woods and they have like Hansel and Gretel and they have like the little crumbles of bread and something like that happens. You start to see the whole picture and you said like, I never was traumatized. I was just making an agreement with all my different versions of myself in order to be able to embrace anger right now at 28, that I'm having my attention here in this age of my life. So I don't know if it was so confusing, but
Oh no,
I
but for me it's perfect. Actually, this is how my brain works. So it's like I need to go like into the whole picture of how you're looking at the system to actually understand how you're making it work. So that's why I ask those kind of questions in the way I ask them. Uh, and I completely understand the way you are talking about anger, for example, or emotions, because I've seen a lot of people that they're just there's a lot of fear of having emotions,
I know.
so the fear of having or of being angry or having anger, so we usually just don't feel it completely. We just try to feel it a little bit, afraid of if we're gonna just lose it out when we feel it completely. And like you said, it's like when you allow yourself to feel it and come to you and be at peace with angry as it is, and with being with anger and being angry as it is, then it's completely different in the way that you can manage it and you can
And
use it.
can I tell you something even more interesting? I think that we're having a little end of this topic here, because I'm going to tell you this. When you reach that point of your life that you are able to see the coexisting lines of time, like in which you have 8 years old, in which you have 28, 63, you also start to realize something that we didn't mention before. You start to realize that whoever was the person that did that violent scene that made you being traumatized is also you. So what I'm talking about, I told you, I don't know if we as humanity are able to have this conversation right now, but let's put it this way. Remember the example that we talk about maybe a person that is being beaten for another one and an abusive husband or whatever? At some point, when you start to realize that your problem is with the abuse, that your problem is with being ghosted, that your problem is with guilt, you start to realize that you are the person that is in front of you. But no, wait, I need to be very clear about this, because when we say this like a concept, not like an experience,
Right.
we like, Lina, I'm not Pablo, like
Right.
me, Lina, what I think I am is not Pablo. Wait a second. I'm not saying Lina is Pablo. I'm saying when you realize that you are not a who, but you are a what. When you start to realize that you are not who I am, but what I am, when you realize that you are the same, but not you. What
Right.
you are is what Pablo are. And what
Right.
you are is what your abusive husband is. And what you are is, like, so that is a long path for some people, but
Right.
there's a possibility, and it's our duty to bring that possibility in order to people to know that that can happen, like that
Right.
that is possible. So it's possible to go to go to that place that you realize that you are not a who. And when you realize you're not a who, you start to realize you are all the things that exist, even the husband that abused you, because I've been there.
Yeah.
I got myself in a situation with a partner, and a lot of things happens, and I was beaten, and a lot of things happens, and one day I just realized that I was the one who requested him to do the things, but not from Lina, because Lina was hurt. Lina was in hospital. Lina suffered.
Right.
So in order to achieve that, you need to go beyond Lina. You need to go beyond you.
Right.
And maybe that's why we have painful situations in life, in order to go beyond what we think we are. Maybe
Right.
that's the whole point of pain. Maybe that's the whole point of suffering. An invitation to go beyond who you think you are and discover what if you're made of.
Uh, I believe that's kind of a full circle of what we have been talking about, like understanding in that way, or having the awareness, capacity, alignment of being able to see who or what is really experiencing this moment, not just the body, not just the ego, not just the mind, uh, and being able to take yourself out of the equation for a while, like yourself as a human, and get into more of the observer of or the spiritual guide or whoever you believe it's endless and has no limits. So
I
I,
know.
I think it's really beautiful in the way you put it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And just to be really clear, you don't have to stay there. I
Mhm.
didn't stay in my abusive relationship, because I was in the hospital and everything. So I reached a point that I was able to leave. But just to be really clear, you don't have to suffer where you're suffering right now. You just go, if you are able, just please go put yourself in a safe place. And then at some point, you're going to reach this. It's not an understanding, because this is something that we're not able to understand, and this is not common sense. And this is not, like common sense. It's not common to think to this this
Right.
way. So I'm not saying that we should allow any kind of pain or of violence or anything. I'm just putting on the table what happens after. What
Right.
happens when once you already suffered, what is like what is available to you to achieve? So all the people that right now are suffering something in their lives, I'm really respectful with your pain, because pain is what gave me this light. It sounds harsh, but in my experience. So please go, be safe, try to do whatever you need to do in order to go away from that place. But after that, don't stay blaming it, don't keep yourself blaming the other one, and start a path, an inner path that allows you to be free of that person. Because even when you already finish that relationship, even when you're already out of that violence situation, if you keep fearing and you keep feel, fear of that person, you're going to be traumatized forever, because you're going to keep feeling that way, even if that person is not there anymore, even if that person is not abusing you anymore. The only way to, feeling different, it may be to go beyond what you consider that you are you, beyond your body, beyond your thoughts, beyond your feelings. And there is a different path there. And maybe one day we all are going to be there.
And
This is
it's a little bit, it's a little bit like trying to build yourself up from the inside as much as you can. And I'm trying to paraphrase you, but and help me out if I'm not really putting it in the way that I should. But what I understand is that it's like trying to build yourself up from the inside. So even if the circumstances outside are changing, you don't fall into the same pattern of creating the same persons over and over again in the outside.
let me just make a really quick observation about it.
Right.
This is the situation that happened to you, whatever, like violence or suffering any kind. This is you, right? And right now you said like, let's rebuild. What was the word that you used? Build up ourselves?
Build yourself up. Yeah.
Yeah, build yourself up. So right now we're making a difference between the abusive person or the violence or whatever. So we are creating distance between us and that situation or that person. So what I'm trying to invite here, like what my invitation is, like, what happens if we go beyond this? What happens if we start to talk about, stop to talking about you and I, and we start to talk about whatever is here, because I don't know the name. I don't know the name.
No name. Yeah, there's no name.
Exactly, because whenever I go there, I don't have words.
It's
I just find
faceless. Yeah,
silence, you know?
right.
So we can, like we can theorize whatever we want. We can invent a lot of information about what happened here, but we're not sure, because why? Because we are trying to understand with our limited mind what happened here, and it's not understandable, and it's not able to be spoken, like you cannot speak about whatever happens here. So what I'm trying to say is this. I was doing a lovely exercise the other day, and it was to close your eyes and observe yourself from the outside.
Right.
And what's really difficult for my mind keep trying to observe myself from myself point of view,
Right.
It's like I was trying to put my eyes here and observe Lina, but what I always got was Lina was observing Lina itself, like herself. So what I'm trying to say here is you don't have to rebuild yourself, because again, you are in the you field. What I'm telling you is what happened when you lost all that you called yourself, when you lost your money, when you lost your honor, when you lost your, when you lost whatever was holding your, like your identity, what happens after? That is my question. It's like every time that you go through a difficult situation, every time that you lose something, every time that you lose love, money, job, whatever you lose, it's an invitation of life to letting you be free of it.
Right.
Because you don't have to keep, like working on it. So you don't have to rebuild yourself after a bad situation or a bad time. You have to be free even from yourself. Because remember, remember, the one who tries to traumatize you is the way that you look at the memory.
Right, but let me
Okay.
go a little bit into that with another question.
Okay.
You can have the experience of this place of silence, freedom, unspoken eternity that we all are.
Okay.
But our minds and our beliefs work in a, let's say, lower spectrum of ideas. So you can have the experience, actually feel it for a while, and then come back to real life, and have this strange feeling. I have the experience, but I cannot quite put it into place so I can make the complete change. So when I use the way build up or rebuild yourself, I was trying to refer to the actual work that you need to do and to keep being constant in one, going out there and remembering the whole time and keep remembering, and at first probably having to force you a little bit to remember that you are that eternal essence. And then we have someone trying to talk to you.
Of course. Right now, someone say like, "Hey." Okay. No,
I don't know if you understand, because that's part of
completely.
I believe that's the part of the work that you actually do with the people that go with you.
Let me ask you this question. This is this place, you know, like the consciousness or whatever we want to call it, like that place. And this is real life. Okay?
Farid, let's try to mute your mic, please.
Ernie, Farid wants to say something with a
Yeah.
Okay. Farid. Okay. I think this is part of it. This is
Okay.
part of it. Look, let's look at it this way. So we were talking really enlightened things, and we were, you know, you and I, we were saying a lot of things that are so beautiful and lovely and blah, blah, blah. And then Farid came and make a different noise, okay? And he didn't say anything. So we say it like, he was interrupting. Was he? Because he was showing us that there is no difference between these words that we are saying and the noise that he was making.
Yeah, it's actually the way the mind works, you know, like just
Yeah. So let me
noise,
show you this.
right?
Let me show you this. So this is real life. This is enlightened or enlightenment or whatever. Okay. So what is the difference between these two states of life? What is the difference? What happens here that doesn't happen here, or what happens here that doesn't happen here?
I need to answer that.
Yay.
Okay, let's make David suffocate a bit longer. Then biology happens.
Okay, good. So this is biology. And here, what do we have?
What would be different? There is nothing there actually. So there's
So yeah, so this. Okay,
nothing
so
happens there.
and then who is the guardian of this difference?
Right, it's the mind that makes the difference.
So wait a second. Here we have an opportunity. If the mind is the guardian, the mind is the one that is telling us that we are not able to see light or enlightenment or whatever this is in a real life. But maybe it's the other way around. Because what stops you to see light in a violent situation? What stops you, Pablo Morano, to see light or to see enlightenment or to see whatever in a violent situation? What?
It's actually the definition I have of what violence is supposed to be.
Exactly, your perception.
Yeah.
Your perception. So maybe the only thing that is stopping us to reach enlightenment is our perception of light. Oh my God, that was beautiful. Again, maybe the only thing that is stopping us as humanity to be in light is our perception of light.
Right.
Because maybe light is also pain. Maybe light is also real life. Maybe we're right now living enlightenment, but we keep looking because this is so beautiful. Thank you so much. I'm so happy with you. Thank you. So maybe our mind all the time says like, you keep looking. One day you're gonna, you know, you're gonna have this experience, that enlightenment, and then you have to go back to real life. So you keep looking in order to or whether maintain your enlightenment feeling or experience, or maybe bring more light to the world. So
okay,
why your mind does that? Why? Because all the time that you say, okay, mind, you know what? This is it. And your mind said, no, I'm sorry, I'm gonna swear, fuck you, this cannot be it, you know. It's like you promised me that enlightenment was this place that we will be, you know, like angels, so full of, you know, like brightness, and no, this is it. And then your mind said, no, this is not enlightenment. Enlightenment is another thing. So go look for it and then bring it to me, you know? So that's why we keep looking, because otherwise, if we stop looking, we start living. So maybe that nothing that we don't have words to describe is already happening here in our real life. But we think there is something else, something better. And if we keep looking, we won't find anything. We will keep looking. The only way that we can find is to stop looking. Stop thinking that there is a difference between light and darkness. That was beautiful. That was beautiful, you know, because at some point our mind, or how to say that in English, our collective mind, I don't know how to say that, is going to realize that this is heaven on earth right now, the way that it is. And I am aware of the wars that we have right now. I am aware of the pain that people is living. I am aware of the hunger we are going through in different parts of the world. I am aware. But I'm also aware that consciousness is the same thing taking different forms. And when you realize that, you don't suffer the form that God takes. You just know that God is here, whatever form is taking. And I know that this sounds really lovely. And then you go back to your house and you have this situation with your kid, and he's yelling at you, and you start like, I'm not feel that that lighter right now. But I'm telling you, there is a possibility. And the possibility is to go back and look again. All the time I say to these people that we share the Tuesday with, I tell them, please, please look again. But not look in order to find something, just to watch, you know, like, please watch again. Please look again. Please see your kid one more time. And please don't see it, or don't see him, for example, with your perception. See him with an open mind, and let's see what you find. Because right now what you're thinking is that enlightenment is something that is there, and we are here suffering life, but maybe this is it. Maybe this is where this is all what we're gonna have as humanity. And what if? And some people say, like, no, of course, because you are in a place of privilege, and because you are in a place of privilege, you can say that. But if you were in another place, maybe you weren't able to say that. And I tell you, I've been in places of no privilege at all. I don't like to talk about myself because it's not relevant. But in that moment, I also was able to realize that light was there in my darkest moments. Even I was more aware of it, because it was darker at that times in my life. So it is possible. It's up to us if we keep thinking that this is a fairy tale, or we start to experience it in our lives. Because I'm telling you, people that study with me, or I don't know, go to that place the Tuesdays, they have been able to go, and some of them tell me, you know, Lina, I've been studying with you for 4 years now, for 10 years now, and nothing in my life has changed. But I am. And I don't suffer my life anymore. So I know it's possible. I don't know.
Thank you so much, Lina. It's been a wonderful talking to you. I feel like we could be talking about a lot of things in very different, deeper or shallower experiences or takes of life. And And it's been wonderful to have you for this hour and 15 minutes that we had you for from your time to share with us all your experience, the way that you think about these things, and how you shape them in your mind to actually make these little miracles work. So thank you so much for being here. If you want to keep listening to Lina, you can find her on Instagram. I believe your Instagram is, let me open up here. It's, for those who don't know her, it's Lina Maria Valencia G. Oh, Lina Maria Valencia G. And I'm sure Ernie will have all those graphics put out afterwards so they can reach you. And for those that also speak Spanish, that I assume most of you here do speak Spanish and maybe follow Lina from before, she's gonna be in the Encuentros del Miércoles in New York in Spanish on Wednesday the 15th. So that's next week. And you probably have there Adriana as a host who usually leads those encounters.
You know, let me say this, please be there, because maybe in Spanish I'm better. I promise I'm better in Spanish. Sometimes in English I'm not that good with words, so I'm sorry.
You did perfect, and I believe it was completely understandable everything that you were trying to share. So don't worry. I'm sure everyone understood, even the English speaking ones that are here that maybe like that language better. So thanks so much again for being with us here. Thank you, Ernie, for having me and allowing me this opportunity to be Lina and to host this conversation. I'm sure Mark is going to be back next week, and I'm very happy again. Thank you so much, Lina, and everyone.
Pablo, thank you so much. I don't want to say goodbye before saying thank you, because I haven't spoke in English, like in these topics of in English, like maybe for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years now, and I was able to feel you. So for me, what you did today is just a example of what we were talking the whole time. Like there is some time, there is some place in your life that you are able to see yourself in another one. So today I was able to feel myself in you, and I was able to, you know, make the whole interview thanks to that. So thank you for being a channel, and thank you for being that beautiful reflection of me today that allowed me to feel certainty about what I was saying, because every time that I got that beautiful idea and I was exposing it, I was able to feel you. So thank you for sharing your lovely heart with this world, because I can really feel you. So I see you. Thank you so much.
Awesome. The feeling is completely mutual, and I'm sorry if I put you in that maybe strange, painful place again, but
No.
it was
It
perfect.
was needed. It was needed.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Well,
Okay.
thank you, everyone. Take care. Thank you for being with us. See you next week.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Thank you for all this beautiful world.